We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
.907 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. If you need a water filtration system, you need a water softener, you got to go to betterwater.com. Why would you need it? Does anybody recall why you might need that?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
It's a good reason. Endocrine disruptors. Just in case you need to do some Googling. It's a real thing. It happened. I'm not here to argue the facts. They're just the facts. We got a lot to cover today. We got some big updates on the Epstein files. We're waiting for this to go to President Trump's desk so he can sign it, and then we'll see what happens. I don't know. Do you feel like we're going to reach a point where there is a consensus that what has been released is accurate, it's the right information? Because I'm of the opinion that we're never going to reach that consensus. No matter what we do, there are going to be people that say the Trump administration scrubbed some stuff, or there will be conservatives that say that's not all the stuff. And no matter what you do, I don't think there's any way you're going to make everybody happy, which is a crazy place to be. Maybe people would have been happy had this been done, I don't know, January of 2025. Maybe the conservatives would have been more happy. The liberals, I don't think, would have been happy at all. We're going to see what happens. But there's a lot of information coming out, and it is wild. Let's start with Hakeem Jeffries. We've learned from the emails that Hakeem Jeffries, Brooklyn Barack, as he was known, was soliciting Epstein for money. They wanted him to come to a fundraiser, and this all got exposed yesterday with one James Comer on the House floor as they were arguing all this. I mean, it was exposed in the emails, but James Comer highlighted it yesterday on the floor, talking about Hakeem Jeffries and how much he knew Jeffrey Epstein. Now, keep in mind that when Hakeem Jeffries and his team solicited Jeffrey Epstein to come support the campaign, this was already after Jeffrey Epstein had been busted the first time. James Comer explains.
Colleagues' coordination with Epstein. Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries as part of their 2013 effort to win a majority. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we found in the last document batch. The files underscore why former President Trump must appear for his deposition. We've subpoenaed him. To date, the Democrats have done nothing to help us secure his appearance. I support full transparency. The Oversight Committee will continue to work to get the truth to the American people and to get justice for the victims. That's our goal of this investigation. With that, I yield back.
That was James Comer yesterday, and I don't know, do you feel confident with James Comer? I'm a little bit meh on Comer. I like him. I like what he says. I liked him when he was going after the Biden crime family. I think that my issue is that it doesn't really ever bear any fruit. It doesn't. He talks a big game, and I hope that he does what he says he's going to do and he follows through, but we'll see. But what we do know, yesterday, Congress voted overwhelmingly in both chambers to release federal investigative material on notorious sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. New York Post has a story. Swift turnaround was remarkable after lawmakers in the Trump administration had been at odds for much of the year, releasing the so-called Epstein files. The measure would mandate the Department of Justice turn over all unclassified records, documents, communications, and investigative materials, and all classified information to the maximum extent possible within 30 days of becoming law. So there's going to be a deadline on this thing. However, they got a carve out for classified material. So, what do you think? If it's classified, that you would imagine that that's the juicy stuff, right? And then that's never gonna come out. The exposing of the biggest names probably never going to come out. Maybe I'm wrong, and I pray that I am. But we'll see what happens. It flew through the House, 427-1. 427. So who voted against it? One Republican, Louisiana Representative Clay Higgins. He is the only no vote on this. And in his own words, he posted why he was a no vote. And this post on X got community noted to high heaven. Let me just read you what Clay Higgins said, and then we'll dive into the community notes on his post. Clay Higgins, Republican out of Louisiana. I have been a principled no on this bill from the beginning. What was wrong with the bill 3 months ago is still wrong today. It abandons 250 years of criminal justice procedure in America. As written, this bill reveals, injures thousands of innocent people, witnesses, people who provided alibis, family members, etc. If enacted in its current form, this type of broad reveal of criminal investigative files released to a rabid media will absolutely result in innocent people being hurt. Not by my vote. The Oversight Committee is conducting a thorough investigation that has already released well over 60,000 pages of documents from the Epstein case. That effort will continue in a manner that provides all due protection for innocent Americans. If the Senate amends the bill to properly address privacy of victims and other Americans who are named but not criminally implicated, then I will vote for that bill when it comes back to the House. That's Clay's stance. Readers added context. They thought people might want to know. This is the community notes portion of the tweet. Rep. Higgins' claim misrepresents H.R. 4405. The bill includes redactions for victims and uninvolved individuals. Massey explained victims can't release names due to lawsuits forcing them into homelessness, and the petition was not yet eligible 3 months ago. Did you find this helpful? Sure did. Thanks. Sure did. Maybe Clay is he's leaning on principle, but he's just wrong. He's just wrong. One thing I'm excited about is how much we're going to find out about the Democrats in all of this. I think that they are woefully misguided in trying to push this release. And we're learning very quickly with Brooklyn's Barack and Stacey Plaskett and more how interwoven Jeffrey Epstein was to the left. Scott Jennings was talking about this last night on Rob Schmidt's show, saying that I think that the Democrats overplayed their hand and they're going to regret this.
He excommunicated him from Mar-a-Lago. He got rid of him. Time ago. He got rid of him out of his life when he realized the guy was a total scumbag and what he was doing. But you know who didn't get rid of Epstein? The Democrats. After he was a convicted sex offender, you've got him texting with Democrat members of Congress, telling them what to say. Yeah. So you have Trump responsibly excommunicating Epstein and Democrats cozying up to him. Again, I have a feeling we're going to learn about how deeply tied into the left Epstein really was.
Yeah, I think so, and it's starting to come out. I mean, you see the Hakeem Jeffries stuff. We already know the Clinton stuff. You see the Stacey Plaskett stuff. It's wild, man. Absolutely wild. Republicans actually tried to file a resolution censuring Stacey Plaskett last night. Spoiler alert, it failed. Ralph Norman was one of the first guys that wanted to get that done, and he spoke about it at length.
House Resolution 888, censoring and condemning Delegate Stacey Plaskett and removing her from the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence for conduct that reflects the discredibility on the House of Representatives for colluding with convicted felon and offender Jeffrey Epstein during a congressional hearing.
That congressional hearing,
Plaskett,
congressional hearing was with Michael Cohen, the former attorney of Donald Trump. It was in 2019. This is after he had already been convicted, Jeffrey Epstein. And Stacey Plaskett didn't lie about it. She had nothing that she could say other than the truth, and she told the truth yesterday. They still failed to censure her. I don't understand how, but she was telling the truth.
Text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time that he was under federal investigation.
No, but it was public knowledge that he had been convicted of prostitution charges.
And who was sharing information with me. No.
That's the key part right there. Jeffrey Epstein was texting a Democrat representative, Stacey Plaskett of the United States Virgin Islands, and sharing information with her. Not just sharing information with her, but doing so to hurt Donald Trump. She should resign in disgrace. And it gets so much worse because the Democrats, after months and months of screaming and yelling that no one's above the law and that Donald Trump is trying to change the narrative, he's trying to change the subject because of his association with Epstein, now Democrats are doing the exact same thing with Stacey Plaskett. Hakeem Jeffries actually called her, and I quote, a woman of great intelligence and integrity. This was Hakeem Jeffries yesterday talking about Stacey Plaskett.
We believe in transparency. We believe in accountability. We believe in due process. That's the opposite of what is happening on the floor today. And let me be very clear about Stacey Plaskett. She's a woman of great intelligence and a woman of great integrity. And she deserves better than what she's receiving from House Republican extremists.
Oh, we're extremists now. Just a couple months ago, you were labeling Donald Trump the most evil man in the world for even knowing Jeffrey Epstein. But now we're extremists for calling out a Democrat representative texting with Jeffrey Epstein and receiving information from Jeffrey Epstein during a congressional hearing that would hurt President Trump. Are you tracking? Are you tracking? I think that this is blowing up in the left's face in epic proportions. Hakeem Jeffries was also asked about this last night on Caitlin Collins' show on CNN, and he ran away from the question. He said, I haven't talked to her, and I'll tell you what, if you got questions for Stacey Plaskett, you should talk to her.
For being here, obviously a lot of movement up on Capitol Hill today. And you heard Stacey Plaskett there. She was arguing her texts with Jeffrey Epstein were not illegal. But in your view, were they appropriate?
Well, Stacey Plaskett is not accused of violating any House rule, any law, any statute, and she's clearly and unequivocally denounced Jeffrey Epstein. And I think what the survivors fought for today is the type of transparency that came out of the House, went through the Senate, and is now on its way to Donald Trump's desk, where hopefully he'll sign it into law, because at the end of the day, all the American people are asking for is just the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, which is why these Epstein files that Donald Trump and his administration has been hiding for months need to be released.
But do you think it was appropriate for her to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein 11 years after he pleaded guilty?
I mean, I have not had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett to discuss this issue because we've been focused today on making sure that there was a decisive vote as it related to the Epstein files and the release. I'm thankful for the work of Representative Massey, of Ro Khanna, but most importantly, the survivors.
Do you plan to talk to her about it?
I think that we successfully defeated a resolution that lacked any basis, was not credible, and was being brought by an individual who was trying to weaponize this issue to reinvigorate his own failed gubernatorial campaign in South Carolina. It was rejected on a bipartisan basis on the floor today. That's the end of the story.
Yeah, I was just asking.
That's the end of the story. People want, the American people want the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Except when it comes to Stacey Plaskett. She didn't do anything wrong. Stop doing it. You're an extremist for asking about it. How dare you? Nobody's worried about her getting information from Jeffrey Epstein during 2019 congressional hearings that would hurt President Trump. You're a conspiracy theorist. Stop asking questions. I'm not going to answer these questions. I'm going to dance around it. Sounds like truth and transparency to me. It's just wild. He's not the only one, too. Jamie Raskin, he actually justified Stacey Plaskett texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a 2019 congressional hearing. And before anybody says this doesn't make any difference, I mean, listen, if he's texting her before then, is he also texting during the House Intel Committee meetings? When does that communication stop? If you have a direct line to Stacey Plaskett during a congressional hearing that's going to hurt President Trump, when does the communication stop? Where does that end? I think you need full investigations. The Democrats aren't going to be interested in it. Here's Jamie Raskin talking about Stacey Plaskett yesterday.
Well, they want to give them another headline, which is that they've arraigned a Democratic member for taking a phone call from her constituent, Jeffrey Epstein, in the middle of a hearing. And of course, I don't think there's any rule here against taking phone calls in a hearing.
No rules against phone calls. None. It was a text message, and he was feeding her information and questions to ask that would hurt the president. This same guy says that Donald Trump is trying to twist and bend the narrative and run away from the Jeffrey Epstein story because it hurts him. And then he looks at this and he goes, well, it's just a constituent. It's just a constituent. Rules for me. Rules for thee, but not for me. This is what we're seeing with the Democrats. I think it's going to blow up in their face big time. There's more information on Stacey Plaskett. Not only was she texting with him during congressional hearings, but she also was privately meeting with Epstein at his home in New York after he was already a convicted sex offender. I know what they're going to say. There's no house rules against that. Okay. We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 9:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Glock store. We are a little over a week away from the biggest Black Friday sale that you are going to find in Nashville. If you love freedom, you love the Second Amendment, you love a good deal, you got to check out the Glock store on Black Friday. It's not just a Black Friday sale. It's a full-blown freedom party. You can forget the big box store chaos. This is where real Americans are going to be shopping on Black Friday, and we need you there. They're going to blow the doors off of every sale you've ever seen. Massive discounts on everything up to and including Glocks. Plus giveaways, food trucks, live music, the works. This is going to be a party that you're going to brag about being at later. Plus, you're going to be able to shoot some fun guns. Who wants to go full auto on Black Friday? If you know the Glock store, you know they don't mess around. They're always doing events like this. Everybody always has a good time. You can see the pictures from their last events on their Facebook page and more. So I'm told that this Black Friday sale on next Friday is going to be unbelievable. So skip them all and celebrate the right way. Your right to bear arms at the one, the only Glock store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, especially on Black Friday.
Hey, James Comey is back in court this morning. We'll have the latest. Also, holiday shoppers being scammed by teenagers in Nashville. That and more coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 9:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Joan Jones is in the newsroom. Mason Fleming producing. And you guys on the phone lines, the text lines, the YouTube chat. 615-737-9986. That's the number to call and text. So Stacey Plaskett doesn't get censured yesterday. Hakeem Jeffries doesn't have to answer questions about the fundraising emails, but we've watched the Democrats be exposed at the highest of levels here. Plaskett met privately with Epstein at his New York apartment to solicit campaign donations.
What?
After he was already a convicted sex offender. We learned this in the emails. This was July 12th, 2018. If you would share this information with Jeffrey, I'd be much appreciative. I would be grateful for his support, the support of those that he may direct to assist me. I'll be in New York City the Thursday of the event through the weekend. Again, thanks, Stacey. Stacey Plaskett trying to link up with Jeffrey Epstein in New York. This is the email we have. Who knows if the meeting actually happened? But it's an email from Stacey after he's a convicted sex offender saying, "Hey, we'd love for you to fund the campaign." Weird.
Follow the money.
And then she's texting with him during that congressional hearing. Nothing to see here, they'll tell you. Nothing. Stacey Plaskett is honorable and full of integrity. Hakeem Jeffries, right to jail, exactly. Hakeem Jeffries was trying to solicit donations from Jeffrey Epstein and asked him to meet with Obama. A firm representing House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries solicited Jeffrey Epstein for donations to get him to attend a dinner with then-President Barack Obama, newly released files revealed. Thousands of pages of documents from Epstein's estate published by the House Oversight Committee last week included a 2013 email from a representative of Jeffries asking Epstein to meet with and give money to the Democrat leader. We've talked about that too. Brooklyn's Barack. All the American people want, Hakeem Jeffries says, is the truth. That's it. We just want the truth. I want the truth about all of these guys. Senator Josh Hawley says that the Democrats are going to be regretting this bigly. Now, I'm not necessarily in the camp of 4D chess, but that's the argument that a lot of people are making. That this is a Trump play. It's 4D chess. Make the Democrats scream that they want the Epstein files, and now they got them. One way or another, it does feel like the Democrats are going to regret this decision. Enter Josh Hawley last night with Jesse Waters.
Hakeem's people asked Epstein to come to dinner and meet him after he was convicted for fooling around with a 14-year-old.
Yeah, how about that? I mean, this is why the Democrats they're going to regret, I think, ever playing around with this, and they're going to regret embracing transparency, though I'm glad they did. They thought, I think, that the files would never become public. They thought this was all a game. Well, guess what? They're going to get their wish. They are going to become public. The president's going to sign the bill. The president's been right all along on this. He said months ago, make public everything you can that's not classified. Now Congress is finally going to do it. And I think we're going to learn a lot, Jesse. A lot of people suddenly are going to get real reticent to talk about Epstein, whether it's Hakeem Jeffries, whether it's Larry Summers, that Harvard president you mentioned a second ago who worked for Barack Obama. We're going to find out a lot about a lot of folks because you know what else is in this bill that just passed tonight? It's got to be a searchable database so any American can go in and read the files for themselves. That's how it should be. I'm looking forward to seeing what's there.
You, me, and everyone else. 9:30 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Former FBI Director James Comey is back in court this morning in Alexandria, Virginia, as his attorneys are pushing to get the government case against him dropped without prejudice. That means that it couldn't be brought against him for a second time.
You have attorneys for former FBI Director Comey seeking to basically have the indictment tossed out before it would even go to trial on a variety of arguments. And one of the issues that has come up related to this case is that they say the government currently is holding on to privileged materials between Comey and one of his associates.
ABC's Alex Mallon there. Yesterday, in a win for the Trump administration over the judge in this case, agreed to block an order that prosecutors hand over grand jury evidence. Watch yourself at West Nashville Shopping Center on Charlotte Pike. Police are warning that a group of teens posing as members of a basketball team have been asking shoppers for donations. But when shoppers tap their credit cards for, say, a $20 donation, they end up being charged for a whole lot more.
It's sad because I'm definitely now untrusting of anyone. I wouldn't have imagined that teenage kids would have done that. Because I'm always the first to give to somebody. I'm very familiar with hard times. Until this point, it's been important to me to give back when someone says they need it.
That shopper speaking to WSMV4, she's out $1,000. Police are trying to identify those teens. They say they'll be increasing their patrols there. Tennessee U.S. Congressman Tim Burchett asking for the public's help identifying a couple of guys who pulled their Jeep into the driveway of his Tennessee property and then used his driveway as a toilet. He posted video of the episode to his Instagram account. You can check it out at Real Tim Burchett. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Cover Nash. And if you need health insurance, there's one guy that is clearly head and shoulders above the rest, and he can help you out. His name is Shane Ring. He's a friend of mine, and he's going to get you the best health insurance right now. You can get covered today with no waiting and no gimmicks. Maybe you missed your company's open enrollment, or you lost your coverage because you lost your job, or you're just sick of overpriced junk insurance. All of these are great reasons to call Shane Ring. And Shane Ring and Cover Nash partner with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, including brand new nationwide PPO options with deductibles as low as $250, flat $50 doctor visits, even for specialists, ACA-compliant plans with free preventative care, plans for individuals, families, self-employed folks, even small businesses. It's time for you to stop overpaying. It's time for you to stop waiting. It's time for you to stop thinking that you're stuck. Shane can help you out today. Go to covernash.com or pick up the phone and call Shane 615-465-0023. That's 615-465-0023. Cover Nash, health insurance on your terms, not the government's. Covernash.com. It's 9:38 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I do believe that the Epstein files will hurt the Democrats more than it'll hurt the Republicans. And I just want to be completely honest with you. Any Republican that's caught up in the Epstein files, up to and including the president, they should have the book thrown at them. I just don't think that we're going to see it. Are we going to see some conservatives' names in there? Probably. Some donors' names in there? Probably. I just don't think you're going to see anything that resembles anything like guilt near the president of the United States. That's just me. The Democrats are already reeling. Larry Summers mentioned in a bunch of these files. He said he's taken a step back from his commitment, his public commitments. You know, he's ashamed. He's embarrassed, and he's still teaching at Harvard. Do you know that? He still teaches at Harvard. Luckily, it's just Chinese students now. But sorry, but he's teaching at Harvard. You know, he opened up his class yesterday. He told all the kids that he was ashamed, and one kid in there whipped out his cell phone and started recording. This is how it sounded.
Some of you will have seen my statement of regret, expressing my shame with respect to what I did in communication with Mr. Epstein, and that I've said that I'm going to step back from public activities for a time, but I think it's very important to fulfill my teaching obligations. So with your permission, we're going to go forward and talk about the material in the class.
Okay, we're going to keep it moving. We're going to avoid all the talk, all the side chatter about creepy islands and the Lolita Express. So please keep the side chatter to a minimum. We're going to focus on the material here. That's Larry Summers opening up his class, former Harvard president. He did say that he would be taking a step back from public life after emails revealed a long-term relationship with convicted sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein. In 2019, Epstein advised Summers on dealing with a potential love interest while she courted another man. This is the kind of relationship that they had. Like, it's not just, hey, can I borrow money? Or, hey, I'm a candidate and you're a rich guy. Can you support me? Like, I think that this is far worse than the Hakeem Jeffries stuff. He's advising him on potential love interests. Yuck. Summers admitted he felt deeply ashamed of his actions and will be stepping away from his public commitments. He told Politico, I'm deeply ashamed of my actions and recognize the pain they have caused. I take full responsibility for my misguided decision to continue communicating with Mr. Epstein while continuing to fulfill my teaching obligations. I will be stepping back from public commitments as one part of my broader effort to rebuild trust and repair relationships with the people closest to me. While Summers will continue teaching as an economics professor at Harvard, he will be withdrawing from his role in the Yale Budget Lab Advisory Group. A spokeswoman for the left-wing think tank told the Center for American Progress. They also said that he will be ending his fellowship immediately. It was Monday. Senator Elizabeth Warren out of Massachusetts said the Harvard professor's relationship with Epstein showed monumentally bad judgment. Will Elizabeth Warren say the same thing about Stacey Plaskett and Hakeem Jeffries? Probably not. But she didn't hold back with Larry Summers. Elizabeth Warren said, for decades, Larry Summers has demonstrated his attraction to serving the wealthy and well-connected, but his willingness to cozy up to a convicted sex offender demonstrates monumentally bad judgment. If he had so little ability to distance himself from Jeffrey Epstein, even after all that was publicly known about Epstein's sex offenses involving underage girls, then Summers can't be trusted to advise our nation's politicians, policymakers, and institutions, or teach a generation of students at Harvard or anywhere else, she added. I love the tough talk from Elizabeth Warren, but I wonder what does she think about Stacey Plaskett? Stacey Plaskett was getting real-time information and questions from Jeffrey Epstein during a 2019 congressional hearing. That's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Tim Burchett was talking about the Epstein files, highlighting what we're all seeing. This is going to hurt the left more than it hurts the conservatives. And he was on last night with Laura Ingraham. Tim Burchett.
Suspected when it all goes out, the Democrats in Congress will have to find another shiny object down the road to kick. And they keep trying to kick Donald Trump. And They haven't been able to do it yet. You know, it's very ironic, the fact that I asked for unanimous consent last week and the liberal media just went ballistic and the Congress went ballistic. So we're trying to hide it. And what did Schumer do? As soon as he got it, unanimous consent, he wanted it on the board. And it just tells you just how backwards and just how really diabolical the left is. They change the narrative so often, and the lamestream media follows up. All they're trying to do, Laura, is to cover up over all the excellent work that President Trump's done. They can't stand that he shut the border down overnight. They can't stand that we're strong militarily. They can't stand that he's ended multiple wars. And their president, they gave him a Nobel Peace Prize basically for a participation trophy. You know, this is just the way. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Congressman.
He's right. What are we doing here? We're going to say that the conservatives are going to come out looking like they have Jeffrey Epstein stains all over them, but what we really see is it's the Democrats. We've been doing this for a long time. We kind of knew what the outcome would be. It's going to make the left look bad. Scott Jennings was talking about it last night on CNN, and he's getting into it. And one of the panelists actually decided to fall back on old school leftist tactics when they couldn't battle Scott Jennings' ideas. So they decided to start calling Scott Jennings racist because Scott Jennings understands what time it is when it comes to the Epstein files.
So quick, I just want to bring it back to something that just happened. I feel like I just heard Scott call into question this black man's intelligence with the IQ test.
That's what you heard.
I feel like I heard that. And so I just want to say something. This is what it sounded like.
So Scott Jennings says that a guy who's saying that, you know, this is going to hurt President Trump is low IQ. He needs to take an IQ test. This other black panel member says that's so racist that you would say that. And it's like, wait, what?
You want to make it racial? Go ahead, but it's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I think that.
By the way, we know each other and we're friends. I know this man. He's a smart guy, and we're having a debate. We're having a debate. Don't make it into so. We don't even know each other, but we do.
This actually relates back to the topic that we're having, Scott. There is you're sitting here with so much confidence without seeing all of the documents that Donald Trump is innocent. There is a presumption of guilt that a black man walks around the United States with, that I have been watching Donald Trump navigate this situation with the presumption of innocence that is never afforded to us, right? This is the same guy that is trailing 29 rape allegations. And we have videos of him saying things like, grab him by the you-know-what. Just the very fact that he's connected to the country's most egregious pedophile, enough. That fact alone is enough for us to ask questions about if it's a disqualifying factor for leadership. So I just don't know why you're so fervent right now, saying that I know for a fact he has nothing. Can we see the files and make that decision?
Where's the energy for Bill Clinton? Or is that when Democrats do that, is it racist? I don't understand why we're falling back into racism. We all want to see the files. Conservatives want to see the files. Apparently now Democrats want to see the files. I've just leaned back on everything that we know about the Epstein files and Donald Trump. He kicked him out of the club, trying to steal underage girls. He excommunicated him. He didn't deal with him after the conviction. He worked with defense attorney Bradley Edwards, who represented the victims in the case, gave him actionable information. What are we missing? Oh, it's the rampant racism. Why don't they bring the same energy to Stacey Plaskett? Why don't they bring the same energy to Hakeem Jeffries? Why don't they bring the same energy to Bill Clinton or Prince Andrew? They never do. All this is trying to get Trump. And we all know that if there was anything in the files, they would have used this to go after Trump a long time ago. He brings up all the rape allegations and the grab him by the you-know-what tape. It's like, wow, you guys really are scraping the bottom of the barrel right now, aren't you? That's exactly what we're witnessing the Democrats do in real time. Scott Jennings doesn't take it sitting down.
Scott? Look, here's what I think. It's been going on for 10 years. If there was a shred of anything to know about Donald Trump, we would already know it. What do we know? We know. I'm answering your question.
Evidence is not the evidence of absence.
We know that Donald Trump knew Jeffrey Epstein, and we know that he excommunicated him from Mar-a-Lago and his life. We also know that after Epstein was convicted, that powerful Democrats continued to stay in touch with Jeffrey Epstein. This is not a story about Trump. It is a story about powerful men. Many of them are in the Democratic Party. We're going to find that out. You can't wash away the politics.
We got to hit pause on this conversation. Republican versus Democrat.
That's because every Democrat goes on TV and accuses Trump of having done
that
something
any of these
untoward.
files, by the way, are being released is because of the MAGA base that basically tried to push for this for 4 years.
Amen. Listen, the reason we're here now is because of the MAGA base. Let's not beat around the bush. The Democrats tried to bury this. They did while Joe Biden was in office. And if there's any questions about powerful leaders, the ones that we have questions about are the Hakeem Jeffries, the Stacey Plasketts, and the Clintons. By the way, the Clintons have refused to comply with subpoenas and testify under oath about Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of people have complied with those subpoenas. The Clintons don't seem to be willing to do it. James Comer was talking with John Solomon last night, and he said, well, if the Clintons don't want to comply with those subpoenas, well, maybe they get the Peter Navarro and the Steve Bannon treatment. We're talking about silver bracelets.
Mr. Chairman, there are two very important people that you subpoenaed early on, or excuse me, that you asked to voluntarily cooperate. They didn't schedule their interviews. Now there's a subpoena. But Bill and Hillary Clinton, if they continue to duck you, will you take them to court? Will you try to enforce a subpoena? Will you go the Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro route?
100%. We're going to go that route. We expect to hear from Bill and Hillary Clinton. Look, Donald Trump's answered questions for years about Jeffrey Epstein. Every day he gets asked questions about Epstein, and he answers them in front of the American people. We've subpoenaed Republicans and Democrats. Two Republicans have come forward, Bill Barr and Alex Acosta. They did interviews and deposition, and those were tough, but they did them. They didn't back down. Other Democrats have sent letters that saying they knew nothing about Epstein, which would hold in court if something ever comes out that they did know something, then they committed perjury there. But the Clintons have never responded. They're the one group in this investigation that's never had to answer questions in front of a credible reporter, and they've never certainly answered questions from attorneys or members of Congress. So we expect the Clintons to come in, or I expect the Clintons to be met with the same fate that Bannon and Navarro were met with when the Democrats were in control.
You know what he's alluding to, right? Jail time. That's what he's alluding to. Bannon and Navarro were put in jail for not complying with subpoenas. If the Clintons don't want to comply with subpoenas, well, they should face the same fate. Again, I'm not overly hopeful or optimistic that James Comer is going to go that route. But I like that the Clintons have entered the chat once again. We should investigate these powerful Democrats and what they knew and how much communication they had with Epstein after these convictions, and we should get to the bottom of it. I think that's where the real story is. The Democrats know it, and that's why we're going to watch the narrative change pretty quickly. What do you think the over-under is for how quickly the mainstream media wants to get away from this story? If I was a betting man, by the weekend, they're going to be on to something else. I have a feeling that the talking head shows on Sunday morning across America aren't even going to feature much Epstein stuff because of the implications for the Democrats. That's just my opinion. Not a betting man, but if I was, I'd put some money on that. 951 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, you're carrying everything during the holiday season. You're doing a great job. Don't keep carrying it with that pain in your back and the pain in your neck. If you're tired of this pain ruining your life, talk to my friends over at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They're going to get you back to a pain-free life in time for the holidays without breaking the bank. For just $12, the Big Daddy Trump special is going to land you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley aren't messing around. The best gift that they can give you for the holidays is a pain-free life. So no matter what you're dealing with, they want to take a swing at it, and they want to help you out. Back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging discs, they'll treat it all. And they're not going to use painful injections, they're not going to use surgery, and they're not going to use opioids. They're going to focus on non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. It's time to grab your MRI and get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it with the Wellness Institute of Nashville. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or book an appointment online, painisbad.com.
And we've maintained from the very beginning that the American people just deserve the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it relates to the Epstein files.
Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein.
We believe in transparency. We believe in accountability. We believe in due process. And let me be very clear about Stacey Plaskett. She's a woman of great intelligence and a woman of great integrity.
And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was sharing information with me.
They've arraigned a Democratic member for taking a phone call from her constituent, Jeffrey Epstein, in the middle of a hearing.
One thing he's clearly doing is changing the subject from a different form of crime, which is child sex trafficking, which Jeffrey Epstein was a mastermind of.
I have a feeling we're going to learn about how deeply tied into the left Epstein really was.
Up ahead, the Rutherford County tax assessor is put on notice by the state. And a week before Thanksgiving, a Gallatin company lays off a big portion of its staff. That and more coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. We got Mason Fleming producing. You guys listening everywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. Watching the show, Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. My kids, they've been asking me for all sorts of gifts for Christmas, and I said, if you want anything, we got to get those likes up. I'm being honest with you guys. So the best we're doing right now for Christmas is water. Everybody's gonna get a 24-pack.
Well, don't forget those rocks that I showed you.
Oh yeah, Mason showed me a cool hack. He said if you get a bunch of rocks and you paint them black, it's free, really. I mean, that's basically free, and then you weaponize Christmas against the kids, and you tell them that they weren't good enough, and that they have to step it up over the next year if they want.
Is that recover. Like coal in their stockings?
Yeah, but you don't have to actually pay the high coal prices.
Oh, I see.
It's just the rocks painted black. So this is the hack. It's a parent hack. I'm getting a lot of text too. I've been going through the text line. Have you seen the text line? I think some people are missing the point when I said, I don't care who's involved, up to and including the president, Epstein files, I want you held accountable. Because I'm getting texts like this. Hey, Chris. It's never a good start. It's a terrible beginning. The Epstein files are not a Dem or Republican issue. It's a right versus wrong issue. Why can't you see that? Oh, I know. Because the Repubs are pedo protectors. Who cares what side it hurts the most? You are so blind. Your spin this morning is disgusting. You should be ashamed.
Are you?
I'm not, actually. I'm not. Because I've said it over and over. Whoever is implicated should be held accountable. Up to and including the president. I just don't believe that the president's going to be implicated. I'll allow new information to change my mind. I do know the bill is going to the president's desk. He could sign it at any moment. This just happened.
Senate, having received from the House H.R. 4405, the Senate will proceed to consideration of the bill, which the clerk will report.
H.R. 4405, an act to require the Attorney General to release all documents and records in possession of the Department of Justice relating to Jeffrey Epstein and for other purposes.
Under the previous order, the bill is considered read 3 times and passed, and the motion to reconsider is considered, made, and laid on the table.
So that's going to the president's desk. He's going to be signing it, and Democrats are panicking. Stacey Plaskett actually just ran over to CNN a little while ago. Did you see that? She was on CNN. I don't blame you for not seeing it. Nobody watches it. But I got the audio here. Stacey Plaskett on CNN moments ago.
I believe that Jeffrey Epstein had information, and I was going to get information to get at the truth. Having a friendship with him is not something that I would deem to have. And so I'm just looking forward. I'm moving forward. And I think that that's what we as American people should do, is move forward. If individuals are not involved in illegal activity, extending his criminal enterprise or his financial enterprise or all of those things, I think that we need to look at what people are doing moving forward.
Wait, let me just better understand that. What is that point? Because at the time he was a known sex offender and it had been detailed all the sexual abuse.
There are a lot of people who have done a lot of crimes, and as a prosecutor, you get information from people where you can.
Oh, so she went on CNN to smooth things over, and I don't know. Maybe I need to listen to that again because I'm under the impression that she actually just dug her hole deeper. Is that what you heard too? Wasn't a very good interview. That's you didn't go in there and accomplish what you wanted to accomplish. You made it worse. And even CNN's like, he was a convicted sex offender at the time. She's like, well, he was a convicted sex offender with good info, though. Is that what she's doing? I think that's what she did. 10:01 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, expecting President Trump to go ahead and sign that bill, ordering the Justice Department to release all the files related to the sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. In the meantime, House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer telling Fox Business this morning he's already subpoenaed banks for Epstein's records as well.
We'll do like we did in the Biden investigation. We'll be able to follow the money. We'll be able to identify different LLCs and different corporations to see where his money was coming from and where it was going.
Are we going to see the client list?
I don't think there's an actual Epstein list, but if we're able to follow the money, maybe we can construct a list.
I see.
Comer issued subpoenas to J.P. Morgan Chase and Deutsche Bank. Chase Bank flagged 4,700 transactions as suspicious in its own investigation of Epstein. Meantime, the House voted 209-214 last night against formally reprimanding Delegate Stacey Plaskett for her texting affair with Jeffrey Epstein during the House Oversight Committee.
Joan, she just wants to move forward.
I heard that.
Can you let her move forward, Joan?
Not until after the news is over, clearly. 3 House Republicans voted with the Democrats and 3 others voted present. That handed the Dems a win. Now, in the run-up to the vote, Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin downplayed the text scandal as Plaskett simply taking a call from a constituent. The Tennessee Comptroller's Office has given Rutherford County Property Assessor Rob Mitchell 1 week to enter all required audit corrections into the county's property system or face possible legal action. News Channel 5's Patsy Mattasino reports.
It's taken way too long for the assessor's office to get its act together.
Comptroller officials tell Rutherford County Assessor Rob Mitchell he has until November 26th to enter all corrections stemming from an audit into the county's property assessments. If not, they say the Attorney General will get involved.
It should not take this long. It should not require a back and forth. We've made the corrections. Go ahead and take the necessary steps to input them into your system.
The letter comes 1 month after the comptroller accused the assessor's office of incompetence during a commission meeting.
Rutherford County Commission has also voted to hire an independent company to review the assessor's work. New layoff announcement for Middle Tennessee. Automotive parts manufacturer ABC Technologies temporarily laying off 85 employees. The Gallatin company didn't say when those employees should expect to be called back to work. And got a quick reminder here that the CMA Awards are taking place tonight at Bridgestone Arena. Ceremonies are at 7 p.m. Road closures all around the arena already, and all the way through tomorrow. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeart, tune in the FM dial. You can watch the show. Super Talk TV is up and running. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. It really does help. You know, I want to say they're Democrats, but I'm not necessarily sure. But quite a few people texting in. They're saying, "Oh, this is terrible. This isn't a right versus left. It's right versus wrong." And I've had several of these individuals, and I'm like, "Listen, call in." I actually 4559 is like texting me all these mean things. I said, "Call in. Like, let's not yell or scream at each other, but let's have like a legitimate conversation about the Epstein files. If you think that I'm covering for conservatives." And they said, "No, I turned you off 20 minutes ago. Have a good day." Okay. Nobody wants to have a conversation. Let's throw mean things out on the text line, but let's not have a convo. If you disagree with me, you go to the front of the line. But I'm watching this unfold in real time, and I think that a lot of Democrats feel the way Stacey Plaskett feels. It's time to move forward, guys. You want to give me a little audio there?
To get at I believe that Jeffrey Epstein had information, and I was going to get information to get at the truth. Having a friendship with him is not something that I would deem to have.
Let me just point out that maybe she doesn't want to call it a friendship, but in the text messages, like the first text message that we see as Stacey Plaskett is texting Epstein during the 2019 congressional hearing while they're questioning Michael Cohen, the first text is, "What are you chewing?" Like, I don't know. That's pretty weird. Like, you got to be pretty comfortable with somebody to ask them what they're chewing. You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird, like, hey, especially from this guy, this convicted sex offender, child sex trafficker. Hey, what are you chewing on right now? Ugh. Give me the heebie-jeebies. She says no friendship.
And so I'm just looking forward. I'm moving forward. And I think that that's what we as American people should do, is move forward.
Isn't it weird that the Democrats want to move forward now? Now that we have emails that show Hakeem Jeffries, Brooklyn's Barack. That's how they were describing him to Epstein. Hakeem Jeffries, people are reaching out, trying to get fundraising done from Epstein. Now that we have this text message conversation between Stacey Plaskett and Jeffrey Epstein, now they want to move forward. Is that a little weird? Am I the only one that finds that weird? Brian is on the road. What's up, Brian? What do you think?
Well, I told Mason, I think I have an ironic situation here, or observation, and that is that lady, that I won't say lady, I don't know her, I don't really think she's probably a lady, but anyway, she's a woman from the Virgin Islands.
Yep.
That, and he's a convicted prostitution business guy, I guess you would call it. What do you say, purveyor or patron?
Let me check my notes. Stacey Plaskett says constituent. Constituents.
Well, I guess that's the clean version, but and also to all those people that disagree with you, that are scared to call in, they really don't know you. I mean, you're not a jerk. I mean, they just don't want to get beat. Just like most Democrats, they're sissies. You know, I've called O'Connell that one time, and I think you laughed about that because I said it on the air, but he's a sissy. And a lot of them are. Jamie Raskin, he's a sissy, high pocket.
But we've had months of the leftists being like, "Oh, Trump is a pedophile protector. Trump is going down. This is how it's going to happen, and the conservatives are going to be exposed." And then when the Epstein files start coming out and we start seeing some new information, it only implicates the left. Like, where's the conversation? You guys were really on your high horse for a few months there.
That's exactly. I think you're pointing out the weakness in the argument, and you're also pointing out the truth, which they hate, because, like I said, I was telling somebody else, I said, if Trump was in this position, CNN, MSNBC, they'd be camping out on the White House lawn. Could you imagine if there was a conservative that had been texting Epstein during the Michael Cohen hearing, what we'd be getting right now? Could you imagine if it was Jim Jordan or James Comer or any of these guys? The amount of pearl clutching and hand wringing we'd have, but instead we get Stacey Plaskett going on CNN going, "I really just want to move forward, guys. It's time to move forward as a country." Well, that's a Biden soundbite. I want to move forward. You want to move forward because if we look in the rearview mirror very far, we're going to see some crap you did. Plus, look, and I agree with you 100%, and I hope the weaknesses are listening right now. It could be some conservatives on that list that they might have been texting too.
Yeah.
100%.
And they should be held accountable as well, along with
100%.
the Brooklyn Barack and Stacey Plaskett. Yeah, 100%, man. I'm with you.
All right, bro. Thank you. Y'all keep doing it.
Appreciate the call, Brian. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Stacey Plaskett doesn't want to have a conversation. She wants to move forward.
Would deem to have. And so I'm just looking forward. I'm moving forward. And I think that that's what we as American people should do, is move forward. If individuals are not involved in illegal activity, extending his criminal enterprise or his financial enterprise or all of those things, I think that we need to look at what people are doing moving forward.
Wait, let me just better understand that. What is that point? Because at the time he was a known sex offender and it had been detailed, all the sexual abuse.
There are a lot of people who have done a lot of crimes, and as a prosecutor, you get information from people where you can.
How many other criminals are you texting during congressional hearings, Stacey Plaskett? Convicted criminals. How many others, and what were their crimes? Because you're getting information from all sorts of places. I would imagine you have quite the Rolodex. Is that a dated reference? It was Rolodex. It still kind of flows, right?
It works. It works.
I'd like to see her contact list. That doesn't flow as well. You know what I mean? Rolodex has it's nice.
It's got a gravitas to it that still impacts.
I feel like that'd be a good Christmas gift for somebody. Like gifts that used to be useful, but like wouldn't mean anything in 2025.
Give that to your kids and have them try and figure it out.
Yeah, here's a have Merry Christmas. Here's a Rolodex. That'd be dope.
Do I use it in Roblox? Like, what is this, Dad?
Listen, if you don't want me to get the kids lousy Christmas gifts like Rolodexes, I'm going to need to get those likes and subscriptions up on the YouTube page. As of right now, it's not even brand new Rolodexes. I'm going yard sale Rolodexes only. Just like
Goodwill back bin.
Yeah. I don't even know if Goodwill would sell a Rolodex.
They're probably not.
It's a mess. Everything's a mess. All right, so that's what we got on the Epstein stuff. It's going to President Trump's desk, and we'll see what happens. Again, Stacey Plaskett just wants to move forward. The House rejected the effort to censure her last night. I don't know. I this is one censure that I did want to see go through. I want to see her pulled from her committees and all that stuff. But whatever. Moving on. She doesn't really count anyway. She's just a useful idiot for the Democrat Party. We'll see what else they dig out of this. And I hope that the dig continues and we get a lot more information. Yesterday, President Trump had quite the guest with him at the White House. Maybe you've heard of him, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, MBS. And while he was in the Oval Office, he announced another massive investment from Saudi Arabia into the United States of America to the tune of $600 billion, although it didn't stay $600 billion for too long.
$600 billion, but that number could go up a little bit higher, yes, or I don't know, we'll see. But we appreciate it very much. So Saudi is going to be investing at least $600 billion, and that means investments in plants, in companies, money on Wall Street, and what it really means for everybody that really counts is jobs, a lot of jobs. We have a lot of jobs. So I just want to thank you.
$600 billion. And that was about 3 minutes after that, President Trump said, actually, rethinking it, we got the cameras here, art of the deal. Can we get that $600 billion investment up a little bit? And the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia obliged him.
We create a lot of investment opportunities. So you are doing that now. You're saying to me now that the $600 billion will be $1 trillion.
Definitely, because what we are signing to facilitate that,
I like that very much.
$600 billion goes to $1 trillion very, very quickly. These are the wins that President Trump is racking up every single day. The amount of investments that's coming into this country is unprecedented. He dwarfed in 10 months what Joe Biden did in 4 years, and he's not stopping. This is the stuff that President Trump says is being distracted from with the Epstein files. Part of the reason why we should have just released these files a long time ago so that way we didn't have to deal with the distraction. But I digress. Mo in Smithville, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Mo?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, man. What do you got?
Hey, listen, I'm like you. I'm all for releasing these Epstein files. I want anybody, Dem, Republican, celebrity, foreign leader, whoever, to go to jail. Be prosecuted, go to jail. So I'm all for that. Here's my concern. People forget that Jeffrey Epstein was a very successful businessman. I mean, he was a tax guy. He was a venture capitalist. He worked with profit companies. He worked with nonprofit companies. When they're going to release everything here, they're going to run across names that literally had legitimate business with Jeffrey Epstein. They might have gone to dinner with him, might have talked about tax implications for their company.
Yeah.
The media and the public are going to drag their names through the mud, whether they did something or not. So my fear in release, I'm all for releasing these Epstein files, but I don't think any care has been done to just, okay, if we're going to release them, great. We're going to maybe mask out the victims. I'm all for that. But people's names are going to show up that had legitimate business. And I just don't think the media is going to give a crap. whether they drag that person through the mud or not.
Well, I think they'll give a crap if it's a leftist. If it's a conservative, they'll drag him through the mud. I mean, but this is baked into the cake, right? Like this, we all knew that this was going to be part of the deal, and a lot of people, including Thomas Massey, has said that President Trump didn't want to release them to protect those names and those individuals, not people that did anything illegal, but people that just were associated with him. And you know what I say? Oh well. Like that, if that's the cost of getting to the truth, then we have to grit our teeth and just plow through that and get to the truth, so that way we can hold some of these very powerful elite individuals in our society accountable. And I'm talking at the highest of levels: the Bill Gates, the Bill Clintons, all of those kind of individuals, the Prince Andrews. They all need to be nailed to a cross for what they did with Jeffrey Epstein. Make no mistake about it. The crimes that were committed were horrendous, and they need to be exposed. And if somebody who did business and was the tax guy for Jeffrey Epstein in the meantime gets caught up, well, then I think that we'll be able to sift through that. But I have no concern over that when it comes to getting justice for the victims.
I hope so. And again, I think you and I are on the same page. The main point here is to get the truth out, get justice for the victims. You and I are in complete agreement. I just do think that there's going to be probably some innocent people that are going to get caught up in it. And as you said, it's probably, at this point, it's probably the only way to get to the truth.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mo, and I appreciate the call. 615-737-9986. If you want to join the conversation, you can do it on the text line. You can do it on the phone line. You can also jump inside the YouTube chat. It's always a carnival of just insanity over in the YouTube chat. Hit like, hit subscribe. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Why am I so happy and so excited that Jimmy Kimmel lied to his audience?
He had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from.
I'm excited because the liberal and the legacy media have been lying about Republicans for years, and people like this are finally taking notice.
I didn't think much of the death because from what I had heard, Charlie Kirk had been a neo-Nazi who wanted me to be dead. He didn't support my existence and whatnot. And now I'm kind of sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I feel like I had been lied to. I really took some time after the thing happened to kind of look into his videos, look into his beliefs, look into his thoughts and who he was as a person. And to me, he seemed like a well-mannered family man. He believed in the country. He believed in the greater good of the country. He had his own political beliefs and opinions. And sure, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with him on, but I never would stand for him dying or being murdered because of his beliefs. And I think I may be starting to lean a lot farther right in response to everything that's taken place.
The Music City Loop is entering a new phase, and a singer-songwriter is now considered a suspect in a gruesome murder. That and more coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. It is 10:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can find me all over the social media platforms at Chris Hand on Air on Instagram, TikTok, True Social, X, and YouTube. At Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. Do you remember all the outrage when, what's his name? The swimmer, Michael Phelps, was smoking pot? Do you remember that? Do you anticipate the same outrage for the Olympian Ryan Weddings? Do you think so? Do you think that's going to happen? Ryan
Does he
Weddings.
smoke a pot too?
A little bit worse.
Oh.
Pam Bondi just revealed a bunch of charges against ex-Olympian Ryan Weddings. They've seized a lot of drugs. Here, I'll let Pam Bondi say it. I don't really know who the guy is, but I'll be honest with you, I don't watch the Olympics because of all the weird stuff that happens in the opening ceremonies. Do you remember what happened in Paris?
Yeah.
And then they let that dude beat up all those ladies, and they all clapped. Remember that? Not a fan. But I think the American Olympics are going to be better.
Fingers crossed.
Ryan Weddings won't be there.
Over 2,000 kilos and numerous weapons have been seized. Approximately $3.2 million in cryptocurrency has been recovered, and over $13 million in physical assets has been confiscated. Wedding is also accused of murdering a federal witness after he was indicted in 2024. He used a Canadian website called The Dirty News to post photographs of the witness and his wife in order to locate him, which ultimately succeeded. The witness was gunned down in a restaurant in Medellin before he could testify against Wedding. Today, we're unsealing a new indictment, charging Wedding with 2 additional counts of witness tampering and intimidation, murder, money laundering, and drug trafficking.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it to L.A. He was put on the top 10 most wanted list back in March, and the list of crimes by this guy is insane. He was wanted for allegedly running a transnational drug trafficking network that routinely shipped hundreds of kilos of cocaine from Colombia through Mexico and Southern California to Canada and other locations in the United States, and for orchestrating multiple murders and an attempted murder in furtherance of these drug crimes. Wedding's placement on the top 10 list marked the 535th addition to the FBI's list of notorious fugitives. He replaced Alexis Flores, who was wanted by FBI Philadelphia. This guy's a nut. He's not a good guy.
I mean, what do you expect Olympians to do in their off time when they're not training? Copious amounts of drugs and murder. Obviously.
Obviously. What was his sport? What was it? Oh, he's a snowboarder. It would have been awesome if he was in track and field.
I mean,
from running to drug running.
Snowboarding isn't far off from what he was doing as well.
True. It would have been a bit more apropos if he was skiing.
Yeah.
It would have been. It would have been. Hey, on the way, we got a lot to talk about. I got distracted with that story as it came across my desk. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I also got distracted last night watching what was going on in Charlotte, North Carolina. It never ceases to amaze me that when immigration enforcement comes into a town, because you got boatloads of illegal aliens, that your natural response as a leftist and as an illegal alien is to flood the streets and wave another country's flag. Nothing says I belong here and I want to stay here, like waving a flag from the country that I fled. Does that make any sense to anybody? That's exactly what happened last night in Charlotte, North Carolina. As we know, Operation Charlotte's Web has really taken root there. And we had a heck of a scene with a lot of individuals, a chaotic scene. They were waving their Mexican flags. And it was a total anti-ICE protest last night in North Carolina. Looked wild. Tear gas in the air, protesters everywhere. Fox News on the scene.
Good evening, Jesse. We are only on day 4 of this operation, and DHS says that it has already arrested more than 200 illegal immigrants, and the operation is getting a ton of support, as DHS says that many of these people have criminal backgrounds involving things like assault, gang affiliation, drunk driving, and more. But as you can see by this protest, there is also a lot of pushback towards this immigration crackdown. And I'll take a little walk to show our viewers a better look at this. But right now where we are has been sort of a hot spot for these protests. And that is because we are outside of a Latino bakery here in Charlotte that is temporarily closing. And that's because the owner says that ICE is targeting its customers. And we know
Targeting its customers or targeting its employees? We're going to dive into North Carolina, Charlotte in particular, and what's happening down there since Operation Charlotte's Web's kicked off. We'll do that when we get back. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories now visible in the state capitol's downtown parking lot. 2 steel towers linked by a beam. It's the rock removal system for the Music City Loop.
The machine includes 18 miles of conveyor belt loop for the 9-mile tunnel, moving more than 33,000 pounds of rock every minute. That material, according to the boring company, will be hauled to approved disposal or recycling sites.
That's News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry. Excavated rock will become the property of the Tennessee Department of Transportation for use in state projects. Kamala Harris was supposed to endorse Afton Bain during her book tour stop at the Ryman Auditorium yesterday. But the Tennessee Star reports Bain appeared on the stage before the start of the event and then told attendees she had another stop to make and left. Kamala Harris then appeared on the stage but didn't endorse Afton Bain. Rather, she encouraged Democrats to go out and vote. Well, his songs went viral on TikTok, but now singer-songwriter David is considered the suspect in the death and dismemberment of a teenage girl in L.A.
Nobody has been arrested, but sources tell ABC News David is now considered a suspect in the death of Celeste Rivas. The body of the 15-year-old was found badly decomposed in a car registered to the singer-songwriter. The medical examiner's office has still not determined a cause of death. The sources say David is not cooperating. The girl's body was dismembered. Investigators are open to the possibility more than one person was involved.
ABC's Aaron Katursky. Celeste Rivas was last seen leaving her home on her way to see a movie with David. That is the latest news. We've got your weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Zero Res Nashville. I'm going to tell you this because I love you. And I've been telling you this. And I really wish that you would just listen to me. You got family coming over for the holidays. And they're not going to say it to you because they don't want to ruin Thanksgiving. But your carpets are gross. Like that stain's been in there for like 2 years. It's time to clean it up. You got to call Zero Res. They're the Maha of carpet cleaning. We use them all the time. We got 4 kids, 2 dogs. We trust what they do because they use their exclusive ZR water. What the heck is ZR water? I'll tell you. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue. It's going to leave your carpets and your upholstery looking cleaner and staying cleaner longer. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I don't have carpets. I don't have to worry. There's other stuff in your house that's nasty too. Your upholstery, your rugs, your tile. Ugh. The air ducts, the air you're breathing. Come on, guys, call Zero Res before you have family over for the holidays. $45, any room. They're going to get it looking immaculate before your Thanksgiving holiday. And then when you dump more Thanksgiving food on the carpet, you'll know. You don't have to freak out. You just call Zero Res. $45, any room. They'll clean it up for you right away. 615-535-9376. 615-535-9376. Or book online, ZeroResNashville.com.
President Trump making news again. The headlines, Chris. Donald Trump revokes the Secret Service from Kamala Harris. Ooh.
The unspoken part of this story is the hundreds of thousands of dollars we're going to save in therapists and PTSD counseling for the Secret Service agents that had to be on that detail with Kamala Harris. You know, we've heard the horror stories of Joe Biden swimming naked around his Secret Service agents, but I wonder how many times they've had to pick up a drunken Kamala Harris off the floor of a Wawa because she's on a Doritos run with Dougie. We don't need to pay for that, and she can afford her own security. I don't think this is much of a story. It's 10:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, you get those at betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeart, TuneIn, FM Dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And Rumble. Did I say Rumble? Rumble's janky.
It's a little janky.
Even our Gen Z friends last night, yesterday, agreed with us, Bo and Gabe.
Yeah, Bo and Gabe were like, if they refine it a little bit.
If they just made it a little bit better. We like the mission. We like the ideas behind Rumble.
It's just not user-friendly.
It's the execution.
Yeah.
It always comes back to execution. Charlotte, North Carolina was a mess yesterday.
What?
I know. Don't be shocked. They're going to clean it up. They're going to clean it up fast. It always just amazes me, though, that when ICE goes to a city, federal agents go to a city, the response is to go out of your home. And I have a video that I'm going to play for you. They did one of those street takeovers where they're doing donuts in the street.
Yeah.
But they'll wave the other country's flag because nothing says I want to stay in America like waving the flag from the country that I fled, right? Right? See, that's the biggest issue that we have with immigration is that people aren't coming here because they want to be part of America. Or they want to be Americans. They're fleeing here for free stuff and because their country sucks. Let's be honest. And then they don't want to abandon any of the things that made their country suck. They want to transform their neighborhoods and towns and cities into the countries that sucked that they fled, and they want to wave those flags. Makes no sense to me, but we see it time and time and time again. Charlotte, North Carolina, has been under increased federal patrol. Charlotte's Web, Operation Charlotte's Web. Don't tell the author of Charlotte's Web's granddaughter that you like that, because she's very upset that they're using that. But hey, it's a dumb book. It's a good name for an operation. But the protesters were out and about. They weren't protesting the name of the operation, though. They were just protesting the operation in general.
Good evening, Jesse. We are only on day 4 of this operation, and DHS says that it has already arrested more than 200 illegal immigrants, and the operation is getting a ton of support, as DHS says that many of these people have criminal backgrounds involving things like assault, gang affiliation, drunk driving, and more.
So the people are out there and they're protesting, and you can hear the cars backfiring. You can hear the tires spinning and screeching. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you see the plume of smoke behind her from people spinning out tires. And they're protesting the fact that they're getting gang members off the street. They're protesting the fact that they're getting murderers off the street. They're protesting that they're getting pedophiles off the street. This is a bridge too far for the no human is illegal crowd. Just completely discounting the fact that they're making everyone's neighborhood safe. This isn't just a U.S. citizen or a non-citizen thing. Everybody's safer because of it. Everybody. And I hope that they get every non-citizen out of Charlotte, North Carolina. You see what's going on behind this poor woman. She's got security tailing her because it's a dangerous scene that she's in.
But as you can see by this protest, there is also a lot of pushback towards this immigration crackdown. And I'll take a little walk to show our viewers a better look at this. But right now where we are has been sort of a hot spot for these protests. And that is because we are outside of a Latino bakery here in Charlotte that is temporarily closing. And that's because the owner says that ICE is targeting its customers. And we know that other businesses have closed as well. The school system here says 21,000 kids have been absent since this immigration crackdown, and the mayor says that people aren't showing up to their jobs, particularly in the housekeeping and construction industry.
So illegal aliens are worried about being deported, and they're not showing up. Okay, good. It's cool. I signed up for that. You know, she mentioned the public schools. That's just one school district, mind you, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school district with the 21,000. We napkin mathed it yesterday. It's about $14,400 to educate a child in that school district. And at 21,000, you're looking at over $300 million per year in that one district to educate the children of illegal aliens. What could we do with that money in Charlotte, North Carolina? That's just one school district. And the numbers got worse. That was just the 21,000 was just after day one. They're now saying that it's up to 35% of that school district is not showing up. Is it okay that 35% of a school district is actually illegal aliens? Do you like that as an American citizen? 35% of the school, illegal aliens. I mean, this is, of course, it's a guess. Maybe there's a bit of the vid or some strep throat going around. Maybe there's a stomach bug. There could be a stomach bug. It's 100%. But 21,000, 35% of the students.
First at 4, we are learning new details about how the presence of Border Patrol in the Queen City is impacting learning at the area's largest school district. For the second day in a row, students at several schools walked out in protest of the Border Patrol deployment here in Charlotte.
You know, I love how they say that ICE is impacting the schools, but they never talk about how the illegal alien kids are impacting the schools. Right? Like, they'll never tell you that we have all these kids that can't speak English that are holding back the class. Like, that's a pretty big impact, you would imagine. But no. It's ICE. ICE is impacting the schools. There's never the music and the drama behind the fact that our kids are being forced to slow down because illegal aliens are in the school and things need to be repeated over and over and over again. No, that doesn't warrant the dramatic music and the leading story. But when ICE comes to town and all these kids stop showing up, that's when it's an issue. You understand? once again, you're the second-class citizen in this situation. The illegal alien comes first. How dare you not let them go to school?
But an educator now tells us that's not the main reason classrooms are empty. Queen City News anchor Will Lewis spoke with the teacher who says the uptick in absences is a direct result of Operation Charlotte's Web.
David Gillespie says the last 24 hours have been tough.
I don't represent the CMS district nor my school.
But he's seen what 2 days of Customs and Border Patrol agents taking more than 130 people into custody.
I'm just sharing my opinion as a teacher in the Charlotte area.
Does to students.
My homeroom class typically has 16 students in it. We had 4.
District-wide.
What? Now, listen, if you're not watching on Super Talk TV, I think it's important to point out that the teacher being interviewed has a man bun. And I think that's important because I think a hairstyle tells you a lot about the person. And I think he's a hopeless liberal. His homeroom classroom had 16 students usually, but because of the ICE enforcement operations was down to 4. A 75% drop in your homeroom classroom because of ICE enforcement operations. So is 75% of the kids in your homeroom illegal aliens? Excuse me. Undocumented? Is that what you're telling me? It sounds like that's what they're saying.
There are 145,030 students enrolled in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. On Monday, 30,399 were absent, 28,136 unexcused.
This is just one school district. Just one.
While CMS doesn't break down the numbers by ethnic origin, Gillespie, a multilingual teacher, did.
Children of parents from Angola, from Vietnam, but the students whose parents come from Latin American countries were the students we were missing. So that was kind of the line, even among the ML students, is that we were missing Hispanic students.
Davis.
So the immigrant students that were here legally showed up, and then the immigrant students who are here illegally didn't. And we're supposed to feel bad. But we're not supposed to feel bad when you have 35,000 students in a school system that don't speak the language and aren't from here and are sucking up taxpayer resources. That's okay. Them not showing up because the big bad Gestapo known as ICE is in town, that's the issue. Okay. And the liberal outrage in Charlotte, North Carolina is only growing. There was actually a nonprofit operating outside of a church the other night. And this nonprofit at the church, well, they were training individuals on how to push back against Border Patrol and ICE. That's interesting. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you're going to see a packed church. It's not for Sunday service. It's for how to stand up and push back against ICE and Border Patrol.
And then you'll have a signal chat during your shift, and we're asking you to please post the details in the signal chat.
This is not a church service. This is a training being run by Siembra, North Carolina. It's called Safe to Work, Safe to School. All those people are here because they do not want Donald Trump's masked armed federal agents on the streets of Charlotte. They watched what happened in LA, they watched what happened in Chicago, and they're all here to be trained about how to get their neighbors and their friends and their coworkers safely to work and safely to school to push back on the Trump administration on what they are doing. It's a Monday night. We are at the Dilworth United Methodist Church in Charlotte, and the turnout is incredible.
Anybody shocked that it's a Methodist church? Are we even considering that a church at this point? Asking for a friend.
I'm going to show you again.
And it's a packed house, guys. Completely slammed. Stunning and brave. Wow. Stunning and brave. So inspirational. The left is organizing. The left is working against this. And even their elected officials are urging people to push back against ICE. This is North Carolina State Rep Alma Adams, who, I'll be honest with you, she looks to be about 100 years old. And she's telling her constituents even the undocumented ones, to report ICE's activities to her office so that way they can push back and fight back.
Charlotte, our community is under siege. ICE and Border Patrol are roaming this community, profiling people, picking people up. It does not matter who you are. You can be an immigrant, you can be legal, illegal, a U.S. citizen. They're picking people up. It's my understanding that almost 100 people, or maybe more, have been picked up already.
That's a
so
good
I'm
thing.
urging each of you, please be careful. If there are things that you see that should not be, please report those to my office immediately. And please be careful.
Please be careful. Stunning and brave. That's Representative Alma Adams. So you have the street protests going on, street takeovers. You have all these kids not showing up to school. Heartbreaking. You have churches, Methodist churches, organizing the citizens on how to push back against federal enforcement. You have state representatives saying, let me know what's going on so that we can push back. And you know what all of that is going to do? Absolutely nothing. You can push back and you can fight back and you can be just as stunning and brave as you want to be. But you know who's not going to be deterred? The Trump administration, Border Patrol, ICE, and definitely not our border czar, Tom Homan.
You will be prosecuted by the federal government. I'd also ask them what they have achieved. What did they achieve in LA protests and Chicago protests and Charlotte protests and New York City? What did they achieve? I'll tell you what they achieved. Every time they do this, they achieve more officers are sent to do these operations, more arrests are made, and we flood the zone with more officers. The results of all this foolishness, more arrests, more safety on the street, more ICE officers, they're not going to stop us from doing this. We're going to be there tonight. We're going to be there tomorrow. We're going to be there every day because President Trump made a promise to the American people that we're going to have the biggest deportation operation this country's ever seen. By the end of the week, we'll be at over 600,000 deportation, historic record. And that's just since President Trump's been in office. We're not even counting the first 4 months of the Biden administration during the fiscal year.
Tom Homan's not deterred. The only people that should feel any type of nervousness right now in Charlotte, North Carolina would be the illegal aliens. And I would tell them, take advantage of the stipend while it's still on the table. Get yourself home, get a little cash in your pocket, be able to apply to come back in legally. Otherwise, this administration is going to find you. And when they find you, you will be sent home. It's 10:51, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends over at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And if you've got a slow or clogged drain, don't sit around hoping that it's magically going to clear itself before the holidays. Call Busy Bee today and take advantage of their 93 or free mainline opening special. They're either going to clear your main line for $93 or it's going to be free to you. This is a November-only deal, and it's a smart way to keep things running smooth before the holiday rush. Now, while we're talking about helping people get ready for the holiday season, Busy Bee, once again, supporting community coat drives happening this month. They're going to be collecting coats in Lebanon that will go directly to Lebanon families. Those are going to be collected at Cedars Butcher Block on Lebanon Square, Tuesday, November 25th from 3 to 6 p.m. And then they'll be collecting coats in Mount Juliet on Sunday, November 30th from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce. This is a great way to give back to the community if you got a gently used coat that's still really nice. Think about donating it either in Lebanon or Mount Juliet with Busy Bee. Also, if you got a go-to Thanksgiving recipe, you can get $2,000 off a new HVAC system. A runner-up is going to get $1,000 off. They'll announce the winner on Facebook Live on November 21st, but I don't want to bury the lead. If the drain's backing up, take advantage of the 93 or free mainline opening special today from Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com. So Trump announced today he's federalizing D.C. police to put an end to violent crime in Washington, D.C. Naturally, leftists are losing their mind and completely unhinged.
We believe there is a better way to protect us all. One that respects rights, to build trust, and keep our communities truly safe, and that is fascism-free.
Free of what?
That is fascism-free.
Fascism-free? Fascism-free. Oh, okay, hang on one second. Hey, Brooks, come here. F-A-S-C-I-S-M.
Fascism?
Correct, fascism. I didn't mean to turn this into an ad for homeschooling versus public schooling, yet here we are.
Maybe she should have proofread that.
Now, before you ask, I definitely voted for this.
Okay. They don't take Reese's or food stamps no more, no candy. So they went live when they say they're going to take out all the snacks. They're taking away all the snacks on EBT. What's the point of having it?
God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds.
Go on, get your butt to work if you want to get some fudge rounds. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
The Reese, they didn't take the Reese off. Food stamps is right now.
Bad news for dozens of workers in Middle Tennessee right before Thanksgiving. Got an update on a Columbia Dam project here in Middle Tennessee. These stories and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. It is 10:57 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Mason Fleming is producing. We got a big radiothon happening on Monday. Nashville Rescue Mission, More Than a Meal. It's going to be fantastic. We love doing this with these guys. They are the absolute best. It is more fulfilling for us, the hosts, every year than anything else. Watching the community come together in so many different ways is just unbelievable. So we ask you to be a part of it on Monday, November 24th. It's going to be at the Nashville Rescue Mission. You'll be able to watch all day on YouTube TV. And we couldn't do it without some of our fantastic sponsors. We got the best sponsors. Window Nation, Mark Spain, Busy Bee, A&G Truck Beds, Charlie Daniels, Journey Home Foundation, Beacon Capital Management, Mission Care Mortgage, Stoltzco, Paul Winkler, AVDG, powered by Guitar Center, and more. This is an all-hands-on-deck event, and our sponsors come through every single year. This organization, the Nashville Rescue Mission, doesn't take $1 from the federal government, which is massive. We love that about them. And it allows them to target homelessness with a Christ focus, because that's really what's going to change things. You need a heart change first. and that comes through Jesus. So we love the Nashville Rescue Mission, and we want you to join us out there. We appreciate you doing so. Tom Homan was talking yesterday. He was on Jesse Waters, and he said, we're not going to be deterred by these protests. We're not going to be deterred by the anti-ICE rhetoric. We're not going to be slowed down. In fact, we're only going to keep our foot on the gas even more. And he revealed that when the Trump administration took over, one of the things that they started doing was going after and finding all of the missing kids that were lost at the border via the Biden administration. The number of kids that they have located is wild.
Even 500,000 children were smuggled in this country, and they lost track of 300,000 of them. You know what President Trump has done? I was with HHS today, Jesse. We already found over 30,000 of these kids. You know, like 3 weeks ago, we're at 24,000. Now we're over 30,000. Wow. And we're going to keep working until we find every one of these kids. President Trump saving lives every day. Most secure border in the history of the nation. Less fentanyl killing Americans. Less sex trafficking women and children. And we're finding children that Biden administration wasn't even looking for.
Yet the liberals will protest and yell and scream. I don't know if you were watching on Super Talk TV. There's a protest is happening in Charlotte. The lady walks by. No human is illegal. That's what it says on her sign. Okay. So you're fine with an illegal alien pedophile living next door to you and your kids? Is that what you're telling me? Well, no, that's not what I meant. Of course. It's 11 o'clock. Super Talk. 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. And right now in Middle Tennessee, 85 workers at ABC Technologies in Gallatin are going to be temporarily laid off just before Thanksgiving. The company filed a warn notice with the state saying the layoffs begin November 24th, but it's unclear when employees will return. ABC Technologies, an automotive parts supplier, recently acquired TI Fluid Systems and rebranded earlier this year. State workforce officials will offer job placement and training assistance to those affected. And the Maury County Commission reaffirming its support for reviving the Columbia Dam project on the Duck River. Supporters like Columbia Dam Now Chair Jason Gilliam tell News 2 the dam would secure a long-term water supply, boost economic and recreational opportunities.
Is to rebuild the Columbia Dam to provide us with a reservoir that would be a long-term solution for our water needs in Maury County. And at the same time, it would reduce our water rates.
Environmental groups like Duck River Conservancy say the project could harm one of North America's most biodiverse rivers and threaten endangered species. This is President Doug Jones.
We need drought restrictions. We need a number of things. The Columbia Dam is way down the list, with all due respect, for what the Duck River Valley needs. Giles County doesn't have any water. Okay, I mean, I can just go down the list. The county east of Murfreesboro, Cannon County, they need water. They need water up at Portland, up that way.
The plan, originally halted in the 1980s, still needs state and federal approval before moving forward. Here in Nashville, former Vice President Kamala Harris was supposed to endorse Afton Bain during her book tour stop at the Ryman Auditorium. Bain, the Democrat in the special 7th Congressional District race. But Bain appeared on stage before the start of the Harris event, then told attendees she had another stop to make and left. Kamala Harris then appeared on stage and did not endorse Afton Bain. Rather, she encouraged Democrats to get out and vote. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Did you see these people in Washington, D.C. and their stupid chant?
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
So here's why this is dumb. Because Donald Trump sending in the National Guard is to stop the murders. Donald Trump is actually saving lives. Over the last 2.5 years, they have had 561 black people murdered in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump is sending in the National Guard to stop the crime. So Donald Trump is actually saving black lives.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got the More Than a Meal Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon happening Monday. We want you there. 997WTN.com for more info or NashvilleRescueMission.org. You remember yesterday we had Bo and Gabe in? Bo Diddle. Do you know how long they lasted at the Kamala Harris rally last night?
How long?
Less than 10 minutes.
Really?
Less than 10 minutes. They were kicked out. Do you know
what?
Do you know what got them kicked out?
I'd love to know.
Asking people in line if they could name an accomplishment of Kamala Harris.
That'll do it.
That'll
do it.
That's pretty much it. Said, how dare you? Get out of here. You're a monster. That's what they said. And then I guess Afton Bain was there, but then she didn't get an endorsement from Kamala. Who's running away from who in that situation? Does Kamala not want the stink of an Afton Bain loss on her and an endorsement? Or does Afton Bain not want the stink of a Kamala on her? I think that's what the people want to know.
That's what they want to know.
Who denied who in this situation? Who denied who?
I don't know.
Isn't that right? Isn't that interesting? I think that's the most interesting thing.
I do too. Rob just called in. He couldn't talk on the line, but he said his guess is that Afton Bain didn't take Kamala's endorsement because she knew about what was coming out on the Epstein files and didn't want to hit with any of that backlash.
Well, that Kamala's going to be in the Epstein files?
Apparently.
That's what he thinks?
That's what he thinks.
I don't know. I did see a video that you put out with Justin Jones. Did you see that?
Good old Jonesy.
This is a reason, though, why you need to watch on Super Talk TV. I don't know how to articulate the kind of bad hair day that Kamala Harris was having.
Oh.
It's a weird day when Justin Jones' hair looks way better than yours. It's a weird day. They were hanging out. They were, I think they might have been on a Doritos run.
Hey, yo, we're here with Auntie Madam Vice President in Nashville. So excited for tonight's book talk at the Ryman Auditorium. And we just finished being at Fisk University with students here at TSU because we know that the power is with the people. So welcome to Nashville.
Auntie Madam Vice President?
Yeah, hated that.
Cringe. Barf emoji.
Gross.
It's just disgusting. Do you see her hair, though? It looks like the top of her hair has been flattened.
Yeah. It's like she's been shoving her head against the roof of the car for most of the ride there.
It does, doesn't it? What could cause one's hair to look like that? It looks like, you know what it looks like? Do you remember the Seinfeld episode where they cut off the water pressure?
Yeah.
And then Jerry's hair looked all weird because there's no water pressure, and same with Kramer and all? That's what her hair looked like.
Yeah, she could also to be fair, not used to Nashville humidity because of the rain that was supposed to come yesterday. It was a little more, but like,
no, I don't.
That's the best I can do.
I feel like you're making excuses for.
You know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I will take this public stand and stop my support of
November 19th, 11:09. Mason is making excuses for Kamala Harris. When will the madness stop?
11:09:35. Mason apologizes for making excuses for Kamala Harris.
Let's hear from Auntie Madam Vice President.
Phil. It's great to be back with you, Justin. The power's with the people. Everybody make sure you vote.
See y'all.
Stunning and brave.
Powers with the people.
Powers with the people. And you know what the people decided with all that power? They didn't want you anywhere near the White House, actually. That's so surprising.
Get her out.
Get her out of here.
Get them out. Throw them out into the cold. Don't give them their coat. No coat.
It's actually what they said to Bo and Gabe last night. It's terrible.
Wild.
Yeah. I don't know what was going on with her. Did anybody go to that event last night?
Tens of people.
There were tens of people in attendance. Todd said a lot of Willie Brown references about her hair. We won't make those kind of references about Willie Brown.
Absolutely.
And her hair. We wouldn't do that. 1393 coming in, guns blazing. If Afton was a few shades darker, she would have endorsed her. Let's be honest. Whoa! Have you ever seen the meme where it's like the color scale and they're holding it up to Peter Griffin and it's like, oh, if you're this color, you're a terrorist. If you're this color, like you're misunderstood.
Yeah.
It's like you do that with Kamala Harris in endorsement. Like not going to endorse. Maybe. I don't know, dude. They said Justin Jones is half Filipino. Auntie is a term of endearment in the Philippines. It doesn't make it any less cringy.
Hey, yo, we're here with Auntie Madam Vice President and
Auntie Madam Vice President.
Just a mouthful.
Yeah, it's still cringy.
Not good.
Not good at all. 4702, Willie Brown said that's how Kamala's hair always looked in his office. I'd have to fact check that.
I don't want to.
So I'm going to get Mason on it.
No.
Oh, my gosh. Guys, what are we going to do? All right. Did you see what happened in Dearborn yesterday? Dearborn was bananas. There was an anti-Islam protest in Dearborn yesterday. And it was off the chains. Now, I'm not for the Islamification of America by any stretch of the imagination. These guys went bananas. There were Christians walking around slapping the Quran with bacon. Yikes. It's your right to do that. You have every right to do that. Freedom of speech. If individuals are allowed to burn an American flag in the street, then it is your God-given right to slap a Quran with bacon. I wouldn't go that route personally, on account of all the stabbing, but you have your right to do that. This is how Fox 2 in Detroit painted the scene. Alt-right anti-Islam protesters in Dearborn overwhelmed by Muslim activists. It was a clash of religious and cultural views in Dearborn on Tuesday as an alt-right group rallied to condemn Islam, only to be overwhelmed by a large group of Muslim activists determined to promote peace. Promote the religion of peace. It's the religion of peace. Did you know that? It's the religion. It is 100% religion of peace. It was a wild scene. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. And some of these guys were absolutely going overboard in their protests, and I'm not gonna defend that or anything like that. They have their right to protest, and I think that this is the first time that we've seen anything like this. So it's wild to watch. Nick Shirley was there. He's a citizen journalist, a really good one, by the way. He's done in-depth reporting on CCOT in El Salvador. This kid's everywhere. I've met him once. Nice guy. But he was at the rally. There's video on the stream on YouTube and Rumble if you're watching us online. We'll paint the scene. A lot of people, few hundred at the very least. Nick Shirley is in the middle of all of it.
Right now here in Dearborn, Michigan, you have a group of Christian protesters who have came out here to Dearborn, as it is the #1 city for Islam here in the United States, as it is one of the only towns here in the United States where the majority of the population belong to the religion of Islam. Some people have been attacked. One man attempted to burn the Quran as he beat the Quran with bacon. The police have now shown up. Counter-protesters are over here. You have Palestinian protesters, Islamic protesters, and it has gotten wild here. People have been pepper sprayed. Cam Higbee was pepper sprayed, and you're also seeing street takeovers as well, as people have blocked off all of the road, and now traffic is coming through. And yes sir, I got you. And right now you have a bunch of people, and it's only about 3:30 right now. It could get wild here in Dearborn, Michigan.
It did get wild in Dearborn, Michigan. He talked about Cam Higbee. Cam Higbee is the same guy that went over to TSU, I believe it was, and he was doing the Prove Me Wrong table, and he got chased out of there. There were individuals that were threatening him with screwdrivers and such. Cam Higbee's down there on the scene, and he says, we have to push back against this. We have to push back against the Islamification of America. And that got him punched in the face, and it got his equipment stolen. And Cam Higbee was not happy about that. He went up to a police officer, and he said, sir, that guy over there in the mask just stole my microphone, right? He punched me, did this and that. He said, can you go get it back? Can you arrest that guy? And the cop, who looked at least, and I don't know, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. He looked to be a Muslim, this police officer. Said, there's nothing I can do. Best you can do is go down to the police station and file a report. He said, if I file a report, you're never going to catch that guy. He's like, you can go catch him right now and get my stuff back for me. The cop said, nothing I can do. Can't leave my post. Cam Higbee says, about 5 minutes later, I see that police officer walking away from his post on a personal phone call. So you're witnessing the Islamification of America. Islam has taken over this city of Dearborn, Michigan, and so much so that the police want nothing to do with actually upholding the law when somebody gets assaulted and their property stolen. Cam Higbee was not happy about that, and he took his grievances to City Hall in Dearborn, Michigan, and he aired it out in front of a lot of people, up to and including the mayor. He called out the Muslim-dominated Dearborn, Michigan council meeting, and the entire room, Eric Daugherty on X says, the entire room was stunned when Cam Higbee got up there and said this.
I'm a journalist. I'm not a protester. This is my badge. Okay. Today on the streets of Dearborn, I was pepper sprayed, maced by protesters because I asked them simply why they were harassing and touching another individual who had stated repeatedly that he was only on their side of the street to talk to them and have a dialogue. My phone was smashed. You can see the broken camera right there. They stole $50 out of my pocket, and they stole my microphone receiver. I went and I told one of your officers, badge number 3668, that this had happened. He told me there was nothing that could be done about it unless I went to the station. I told him, I can't go to the station. I'm working. I'm doing my job. He said, I'm working too. I said, yeah, and your job is to protect me and all of the people that are out here today. Okay? So we said that I could go into the station later. I told him, you're never going to catch the guy if I go into the station later. He's going to leave. He's dressed head to toe in black bloc. I filmed the whole thing, but he had a mask on his face. You'll never, ever get an opportunity to arrest that person ever again if you don't go and get him right now. He said, sir, I can't leave my post. 5 minutes later, I caught him in the parking lot on a personal phone call.
You know, when the police officer says, he says, if you don't go get him right now, you'll never, ever catch him. And the police officer says, I can't leave my post. I think part of the reason is the police officer didn't want to catch him at all. The police force has been taken over by this ideology, and we saw that a few weeks back when they tried to put Arabic on the Dearborn, Michigan police patches. Completely compromised. 100%. We have an Islam colony in America in Dearborn, Michigan. Nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to bat an eye. It's all part and parcel.
Okay? Repeatedly today, I watched people that are in this room get attacked by other people that are in this room. I watched your officers not respond to those attacks repeatedly. Then I saw somebody who was in this group, which I'm a journalist. I'm just documenting what's going on, and I'm here to tell you what's going on. I saw somebody in this group get arrested. I asked the officers, habeas corpus, please articulate probable cause for arresting this person. They refused to. I asked name and badge number. They refused to give me their name and badge number as a member of the press with my badge clearly displayed. They would not tell me why they were arresting this person. They just did it. Okay? Yesterday, I was exploring Dearborn. I came here just to document this from Seattle as a journalist. Okay? I was exploring Dearborn. I walked up and down Michigan Avenue. There wasn't very many people out. Then we wanted to hear the call to prayer that we've heard so much about. So we went to a mosque. And at that mosque, I was followed by a drone. If I moved forward, the drone moved forward. If I went backwards, the drone went backwards. I went to a gas station, and that drone waited outside of the gas station, just above the door, for me to leave so it could begin following me again. I was followed by vehicles, and I was followed by individuals on foot. There was a lot of talk in here today about sexism. So I'd like to quote the Prophet Muhammad. Okay? One of my favorite quotes from the Prophet Muhammad. A woman's testimony is worth half that of a man's due to the deficiency of her mind. God created two sexes, one superior and one inferior. That's why your women wear hijabs, because they're inferior to men. That's why in most Muslim countries they can't leave their homes without permission of a male guardian.
I mean,
this is my bad.
Cam Higby's just going full scorched earth, and a lot of these protesters were ready to go full scorched earth. Now, while I don't necessarily agree with some of the methods, to watch Christians rise up and find their voice and push back against this ideology, it is rather, hope. It gives you hope that we're not going to be taken over like so many other Western countries have. I do enjoy seeing the pushback. I wouldn't be the guy slapping a Quran with bacon. That's not the lengths I would go to. But to watch this pushback in real time, it's pretty wild. Pretty wild, and that's what's going down in Dearborn. Elsewhere in the country, Nicki Minaj is standing up for Christians. Christians' voices are being platformed more and more and more. Yesterday, Nicki Minaj was shedding some light on what's happening to Christians in Nigeria and praising the President of the United States for doing the exact same thing. We'll cover that when we get back. It's 11:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Tennessee takes on high rents in a landmark settlement. Details coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. It is 11:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Nashville Rescue Mission. The Radiothon's happening Monday. More than a meal. 997WTN.com for more info or NashvilleRescueMission.org. Can't wait for Monday. It's going to be awesome. And we're looking forward to you guys once again showing up and supporting us. We appreciate you doing that every single year. It really is a fulfilling day in a lot of different ways. So we appreciate you doing that. Nicki Minaj yesterday. This is crazy. I'm talking about Nicki Minaj on a conservative radio station. Nicki Minaj speaking up about targeted Christians in Nigeria. I do love the fact that Christians are once again finding their voice and saying, no, I'm not just going to sit back and take it. We're going to speak up. We're not going to let our faith be hidden. We're going to bring it to the public square. We're going to highlight what's bothering us, and we're not going to be silent. Nicki Minaj is one of those Christians. And she said yesterday that the violence and the genocide that's happening against Christians in Nigeria needs to stop. And she said so forcefully at the UN, saying that these Christians are being driven from their homes. They're being targeted. And she was an absolute fearless advocate yesterday for Christians in in Nigeria. It's not something that I was expecting to see happen in 2025. You know, it's like, what's the meme from Lord of the Rings? They're like, oh, I never thought I'd be fighting side by side with a female rapper. It's like, what about a friend? Aye. You know, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Nicki Minaj yesterday talking to the UN.
In Nigeria, Christians are being targeted, driven from their homes, and killed. Churches have been burned. Families have been torn apart. And entire communities live in fear constantly, simply because of how they pray. Sadly, this problem is not only a growing problem in Nigeria, but also in so many other countries across the world, and it demands urgent action. And I want to be clear. Protecting Christians in Nigeria is not about taking sides or dividing people. It is about uniting humanity.
Amen. Nicki Minaj. You know, she had to put in that disclaimer there at the end. It's not about taking sides, because she got a lot of flack for coming out and saying this. You understand that, right? It was what was it, a couple weeks ago? Trump threatened to go in guns a-blazing to wipe out the Islamic terrorists who were threatening Christian Nigerians. Guns a-blazing. And it was Nicki Minaj who backed him up. And she got a lot of heat for that. A lot. We can't discount people like Nicki Minaj. I mean, she's got 28 million followers on X, more on Instagram. Her voice and her reach is massive. And we should be thanking for her. Nicki Minaj, during her speech, thanked Trump for his leadership. She commended him for calling for urgent action to defend Christians in Nigeria, to combat extremism, and to bring a stop to violence against those who simply want to exercise their natural right to freedom of religion or belief. She was born in Trinidad, and she described Nigeria as a beautiful nation with deep faith traditions, and even shouted out the beautiful Barbs in Nigeria who have been affected by that violence. She said, I know you're somewhere listening. I love you so very much. This isn't about taking sides. This is about standing up in the face of injustice. I will care if anyone, anywhere, is being persecuted for their beliefs. Nicki Minaj, not the hero we expected to show up, but here she is, becoming an ally for Christians everywhere. Kudos to Nicki Minaj. 11:30, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers, we've got a crash on the off-ramp, left shoulder block there of that ramp, 24 eastbound to go southbound on 65. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Tennessee, the state has joined a multi-state settlement with Greystar, the nation's largest property manager, accused of using software to unfairly drive up rental prices. State Attorney General Jonathan Scarmetti says Tennessee renters were stuck paying too much because property management companies shared information through the RealPage software to artificially inflate prices. This settlement's expected to reduce upward pressure on rents over time, but experts caution that immediate price drops are unlikely. Now we have an audit, or rather an update that is, on an audit in Rutherford County that could mean some property owners pay higher tax bills while others could be eligible for refunds or adjustments. News Channel 5 says the Tennessee Comptroller's Office has given Rutherford County Property Assessor Rob Mitchell a deadline or face legal action. Here's reporter Patsy Montesino.
It's taken way too long for the assessor's office to get its act together.
Comptroller officials tell Rutherford County Assessor Rob Mitchell he has until November 26th to enter all corrections stemming from an audit into the county's property assessments. If not, they say the Attorney General will get involved.
It should not take this long. It should not require a back and forth. We've made the corrections. Go ahead and take the necessary steps to input them into your system.
The letter comes 1 month after the comptroller accused the assessor's office of incompetence during a commission meeting.
And until corrections are fully entered, current property records may still contain errors, which can affect sales, refinancing, or appeals. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Dan over at Cabinet Makeovers. I talk about these guys all the time. If you need to make an investment in your home, do it with the people that are going to stand by their work. Do it with Cabinet Makeovers. These guys are the best. My wife had for a long time wanted pull-out cabinets and a pull-out pantry. And it's like the shelves are on these, you just pull them right out and you can grab everything you need. You don't have to bend over and dig in the back of the cabinet for pots and pans. And I was like, yeah, we can do something like that. I'm fine with that. My wife was sold on them before we ever had them installed. Now that we've had them installed by Cabinet Makeovers, oh my gosh, I am sold on them too. These cabinets are going to change everything about your kitchen. And it's going to change everything about your pantry. If you need to make the investment in your home, do it with a company that cares about quality. Everything these guys do is Tennessee made. Every cabinet, pull-out drawer, all wood construction, full extension, soft close glide. The craftsmanship is of the highest level, and it's going to upgrade your space. Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't need to do the kitchen. Well, they don't stop at kitchens. Custom closets, pantries, cabinetry for every room in your house. Cabinet Makeovers will get it done for you, all built with the same Tennessee pride and biblical values that guide their business. So give them a call today. That's what I did. 615-331-7010. 615-331-7010. Or see pictures of their work online. CabinetMakeoversTN.com. It's 11:36. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeart, tune in to the FM dial. You can watch the show. Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. Help me get something nice for the kids for Christmas. It's really up to you. The kids, they got a lot of asks. And I said, we got to get the likes up or we're not getting anything. And I said, I can't even do coal. Mason has a good hack, though. He said, get the rocks in the yard. They're free. Paint them black. Boom. So, I mean, that's what the kids are getting currently. Unless you guys step up the likes and the subscribes on YouTube.
You can let the kids paint them.
There you go.
It's an art project.
So, I got you arts and crafts.
Yeah.
Like, Dad, it's only black paint. I'm like, I know. It's festive.
Be appreciative.
Yeah. There are kids that didn't get anything. You know that, right? No, I'm kidding. We're going to give the kids a good Christmas. Don't worry. Plus, there's always Santa to fall back on.
Yeah.
So there's that. I got a lot to get to here. Do you know what time it is?
I think so.
I think you're right. It's time for the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Oh man, I got so many stories to get to today. I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know. There's so many strikes of lightning that are just raining down on us that I could go any direction. It's a lot of lightning. Oh my gosh. Heavens. Good heavens. We could do, there's a fun new virus out. I got a story about monkeys and meth. I got another unlikely ally and Donald Trump correcting the record from what Donald Trump said yesterday. So where do we begin?
I think we go with the new virus and we round out with monkeys at the end.
All right. First story in the lightning round. It's pretty cool. I like new things. Everybody likes new things this time of year.
Maybe.
One Washington resident has been hospitalized with a virus never before seen in humans. Just in time. It's
that time of year.
It's pandemic time.
Yeah.
Washington, this is from the Daily Mail. Washington State resident has been hospitalized with a severely ill and with a strain of a virus that has never been confirmed in humans before. The patient, an older adult with underlying conditions, not that matters in death toll counting, right, was hospitalized with a strain of bird flu in early November, suffering from a high fever, confusion, severe breathing difficulties, officials said. They were first treated by doctors at Gray Harbor County, about 100 miles west of Seattle, before being transferred to an unnamed hospital in King County, where Seattle is based for specialist care. Lab tests confirmed the patient is infected with H5N5. We've heard of H5N1. This is obviously 4 times worse. This is a strain of bird flu previously detected in animals, but never before recorded in humans. Where the strain could be determined, all previous human cases have been infected with H5N1 strain. Experts said the appearance of this strain in humans showed the virus's unpredictable evolution. There is currently, though, no evidence that this strain is more infectious or more severe in humans than other strains of the virus. But it's the first case of this bird flu infection detected anywhere in the U.S. in at least 8 months, and the first recorded in Washington State this year. And I just want to be the first to go on record to say, mask up, get your booster, stop messing around, and eat chicken noodle soup.
I'll make that deal. How about you bitch? You make that deal?
I'd make that deal.
I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
And close the small businesses, for crying out loud. They're not essential. So that's it.
Don't need them.
We don't need them. That's my public service announcement for the day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. All right, so let's go with unlikely ally.
Cool.
If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you'll see an individual with long green hair, manicured fingernails, lots of tattoos.
Is that
clearly a man?
Yeah. It's like, is that Jeffree Star?
It is Jeffree Star.
Oh boy.
Do you know who Jeffree Star is?
Unfortunately.
Never thought I'd be fighting side by side a man dressed as a woman with pointy fingernails and long green hair. So he said, what about side by side with a friend? I said, aye. All right, so Jeffree Star comes out, and he said, any parent who pushes... Okay, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, this is one of the reasons why you need to watch on Super Talk TV, because you'll see what Jeffree Star looks like. And now, when you see what he looks like, this is the quote, this is the headline. Any parent who pushes transgenderism on their kids are effing weirdos. It's okay. Okay, I can only play some of this clip because it gets a little bit
a little dicey.
It gets a little dicey towards the end, but I will play some of this so that way you can get a taste. I don't want to say that. I was going to say get a taste of Jeffree Star, but
Yeah,
I don't
no.
know. It's probably not the right verbiage.
You can hear some of his opinions.
There we go. Thanks, Mason.
I got you.
Why are we putting in cartoons trans flags and we're all this stuff that and that's my personal opinion. I don't agree with it. I think it's too young. I don't agree with 8-year-olds wearing makeup either. It was never sexualized and weird and like, why does a 5-year-old watching a Netflix cartoon show need to know about that right now? Why? And then let's just really take it there.
Let's take it there.
Why are we encouraging our kids to be a different gender and feed them false information when they're so young? So
That seems like a very reasonable take, doesn't it?
Did I just hear based?
What? Wait, what? Now here's the part I couldn't air because I have to edit it. He goes, "It's like when you're a tomboy. Did your mom cut your blanks off at 13? Nowadays, all these effing weirdos telling their kids, OMG, you like a Barbie? You're a woman. No, that's a little boy experimenting and not knowing what the bleep he's doing." Jeffree Star added. The culture war is getting weird. Have you noticed that? Unlikely allies, as far as the eye can see. Jeffree Star insisted, even though he chooses to present himself with an effeminate look, that his family didn't sexualize him as a kid, and that his mom was just like, just be who you are. Just be who you are. Not you're a girl. Not we need to get you on these drugs. Not we need to cut off your bits. Just be who you are. Jeffree Star has also gotten a lot of heat because he disagrees with the debate over pronoun, saying you can only be man, woman, or trans. He goes, what you think your identity is has nothing to do with what you're sexually attracted to. Star said that he feels like he's trans and queer. He's the T and the Q in the LGBTQ. But he says that they should be removed and have their own category. He said, Q and T need to get off the alphabet, sweetie. It's a weird time in America.
Wild.
2025. 2025.
Didn't have that on my bingo card.
We got Jeffree Star. You see him on the Super Talk TV.
Yeah.
Long green hair. Fighting for kids. Got Nicki Minaj out there fighting for Christians. I'll fight side by side with both of them. Aye. It's a wild time. I got another story for you here in the lightning round. You remember yesterday that President Trump, he had the Saudi crown prince, MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, right? He was in the Oval Office, and he said he's investing $600 billion into America, and then he said, that seems low. Can you do more? And then the crown prince said, okay, I'll do $1 trillion. It's like, aye. it's fighting side by side with a friend. Well, Donald Trump had to correct the record on that today.
Oh.
This is at the Saudi Investment Forum, which just happened moments ago. Apparently that $1 trillion number was wrong.
Countries also signed groundbreaking agreements on civil nuclear energy, critical minerals, and artificial intelligence. And I want to congratulate a lot of the great American leaders, business leaders that are in the room. And you'll do a great job for Saudi Arabia and for a lot of other people in the room that are buying your product, taking your product, and using your product. All of that is in addition to the $600 billion investment in the United States that Saudi Arabia announced during my unforgettable visit there last spring. Well, I said, could you try and get that up to $1 trillion? And yesterday, the Crown Prince announced that the number that they'll be investing in the United States is $1 trillion. So that's really an honor. And we just took a picture backstage with some of the great business leaders and some of the great people, friends of mine from your country, and beautiful picture. And while we were taking the picture, I said, could you make it 1.5 trillion? So he's got something to think about. I don't know. We'll get something. I think we'll get something, Scott, right?
Art of the deal, baby. Art of the deal. 1.5 trillion. Let's make that happen. I love it. I'm backstage. I just lean over. Could you make it? Could you make it 1 trillion? Also at the Saudi Investment Forum, Donald Trump announced that those $2,000 tariff dividend checks would be coming, and they'd be coming before midterms. Now, I don't necessarily like the idea of tariff checks. Okay, but I do understand that the memory of a lot of Americans are equivalent to that of a goldfish. And if $2,000 checks come out before midterms, I'm not against bribery, right? I want to stay in power. That way we don't have a lame duck presidency. Trump said, maybe we'll be releasing these before the midterms. This was Donald Trump on the tariff checks.
We're going to be doing a dividend to the people, low and middle income, moderate income people, of at least $2,000. In addition to that, we'll be paying down debt very substantially. It's the kind of money we're taking in. And really, countries that took advantage of us are no longer taking advantage of us. Friends, some of our friends treated us far worse than our enemies on trade anyway, and we've got that all straightened out. And everybody's happy. They respect us again. You know, it's like one of those things. I think they like us better, and they actually respect us, and it works out much better for us, too.
So the tariff dividend checks are coming, according to the president, and people are expecting them sometime before the midterms. We'll see what happens. Again, I'm not a huge fan, and I know what's happened every time we've cut checks like this. It always leads to inflation. When the money machine goes burr, the inflation just ramps up. So I don't know. I'm torn. I also want to win the midterms. So, hey, if you feel like that's a recipe for success, go for it. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. This will be our last one. Monkeys and meth.
Yeah, what's going on there?
2 men in a wildlife smuggling ring were caught with 81 monkeys and meth.
Ha.
It's really, I mean, the headline's really all you need to dig into.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to dig into one more thing.
How do you smuggle 81 monkeys? I would imagine there has to be some keeping them quiet. To not alert the authorities that you have 81 monkeys.
Do you use the meth?
I don't know if that would help.
I don't either.
I've heard about like Benadryl for a puppy on a long car ride.
Yeah.
But if it was 81 monkeys in fentanyl, you get a little monkey with a little nod off mid-conversation. 2 men who allegedly admitted to being part of an international wildlife smuggling ring were caught with 81 monkeys stuffed in bags.
Oh, even worse.
It's
like, a little worse than a car ride.
You know what I picture? Remember in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Yeah.
When the grandmother comes over and she boxed up one of the cats. And like the box is just going wild. Like I picture those guys trying to get through airport security with that. It happened in Thailand. Weirder things have happened in Thailand, full disclosure.
True.
Thai Rangers stopped the pair in a vehicle on Friday in the Sao Keo province near the country's border with Cambodia, Fox News reported. During the interaction, authorities reportedly found the drugs and monkeys in blue net bags. According to the 12th Ranger Forces Regiment, the 2 men allegedly admitted to being part of a trafficking ring moving the macaws from Thailand to Cambodia. According to the report, authorities seized the monkeys and the drugs. They did not disclose the amount of drugs. We do know is 81 monkeys.
Honestly, I think I'm more interested in how many monkeys there were anyway, so I think we got the better
Everybody
number.
was much more interested in how many monkeys there were.
Yeah, What are you doing when you get the monkeys to their destination?
What kind of car were you driving?
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions. And this
drive a clown car.
This news report just leads to more questions. And they end with this. This is what they close. Authorities seized the monkeys and the drugs. They did not disclose the amount of drugs. Thailand is a major transit point for wildlife smugglers who often sell endangered animals from markets in China and parts of Southeast Asia. In May of 2025, a man was arrested in Thailand on suspicion of smuggling two baby orangutans into the country. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service said at the time. Are they going to eat the monkeys?
It's either that or like all I can think of is like rich people pets.
Are they going to eat the monkeys?
People eat monkeys.
Well, they're going to China.
People eat monkeys.
We're full circle right back to the virus.
Oh,
this is what happens.
China.
Scary.
Scary.
I'm pretty sure they were going to eat those monkeys.
Obviously.
11:52. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:57, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Mason Fleming producing. Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Chad Benson's in studio.
Hello.
And Chad is in here during the commercial break, and he's talking me out of getting a monkey, but I never actually said that I wanted to get a monkey. I was telling him the story about the meth and the monkeys.
That's fun, though.
How do you bag up 81 monkeys is a question inquiring minds want to know.
That is a great question.
'Cause I would assume if you're bagging them, you're getting at least more than one in each bag.
No, probably. You probably get them. How big were the monkeys? Do we know? They probably weren't that big. Put them in small bags.
They were macaws.
Yeah, they're probably babies. So,
you could put a bunch of baby macaws in a bag.
Yeah. They probably weren't. They didn't have full ones. They put them in there. At what point, as I was telling Chris, at what point when you're getting pulled out of the vehicle and you realize you have all this meth and monkeys and you think, I have made some really poor decisions. I need to get my life on track. Y'all need Jesus.
I immediately regret this decision. Immediately. 81 monkeys in meth.
Now, if you go to jail, what do you say? Like, which one of you is taking the monkeys and which one of you is taking the meth?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Which do you think comes with a bigger penalty?
Yeah, that's
Probably
right.
I bet you the meth has a much higher penalty.
Oh, yeah. A lot of those places, it's death penalty.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be in jail and it's like, there goes the animal smuggler. Monkey smuggler.
Yeah, it's not. Do you think they get treated as bad as some other prisoners?
No, well, I'm sure in all those places. Right, was one of those places. What's it called? Satan's Pillow.
Yeah, but you said don't get a monkey.
Do not. It's a toddler with an anger problem that you have to watch 24/7. That's a little bit on the spectrum.
But you could teach the monkey to smoke, and
you can.
It's frowned upon with toddlers.
It is. Well, yes, it is. It is frowned upon with toddlers. But yes, you could teach it to smoke. You teach them to use tools. It depends on what kind of monkey you get.
Which monkey would you recommend?
If I had to get one, I'd get I don't know. I mean,
like the Ace Ventura kind of spider monkey looking guy.
There's so much work, so many other things you'd rather get. Just it's one of those things where my friends who've had them, some of them still do. They're like, dude, it is just nonstop 24/7.
They're so random. Chad's in here during the break, and he's saying, "Don't get a monkey." He's like, "What you want is a cheetah."
Yeah, you cheetah like a serval. Yeah, no, you don't want cheetah if you don't have the room. But if you wanted to get
if you don't have the room,
if you wanted to get a big cat,
it's not a Great Dane.
If you wanted to
can't have a cheetah in the
Great
apartment.
Danes are bred to be apartment dogs.
I know.
It's so weird.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, but no, if you wanted to get a cool cat, you get a serval. They're easy to train like house cats. They're easy to train like house cats. Right? You could train an alligator. You can get an alligator. It's super docile. Crocodiles will not participate in anything you're training them for.
Really?
Yeah, they want no part of what it is except to eat you.
Okay.
There you go.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Where knowing is half the battle.
And the other half is resisting the cool opportunity to purchase a monkey.
Chad's in next. 12 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.